In the first two Paper Mario games, there is a unique badge that serves the exact same purpose in both of its games, despite the differing circumstances for obtaining, wearing, and using it. It is called the Quick Change Badge. The Quick Change Badge is recognizable in both of its designs in its respective games by the spiky exterior and the circular arrow in the middle. Its function in both games is that it allows you to switch partners without using up a turn in battle. This means that with this badge on, you can switch partners freely in battle without using up your character's turn. In Paper Mario 64, the game even lets you know that you have the badge on with the change partner option being highlighted in light blue, letting you know that you can change freely and still spend your turn on something else. People have complained that this badge should not exist, that it's not fair, and that people should be able to change partners for free anyways, while at the same time, other people rank this badge as either very good, if not one of the game's more crucial badges like Power Bounce and Flower Saver, or just very important in either case, which is whether the idea of needing such a badge is good or not, or even whether or not the badge's function and purpose should be a key part of the game. Now, the badge itself has what many consider a high BP cost to wear. It costs 4 BP to wear in Paper Mario 64 and 7 BP in the Thousand Year Door. In 64, the maximum number of badge points is 30, which means that this badge takes more than 1/10 of all your BP in this game, while in TTYD the max BP is 99, so this badge doesn't even take 1/10 of that, but it is still considered a lot given the game's overall balancing. In Paper Mario 64, this badge isn't obtained until during or after Chapter 3, when Mario comes back to Toad Town either after having obtained the Super Boots at Boo's Mansion, or after finishing all of Chapter 3. Mario can talk to Merlon, which will be outside his house, and he can tell Mario to walk around the red palm tree in Dry Outpost, which if he does, prompts a Dryite nearby to tell Mario to spin jump 3 times inside Merlon's house. Any player that already knows to do this can skip going to Dry Outpost entirely and just spin jump 3 times in Merlon's house, and the quick change badge will drop from the ceiling. Something that would later be referenced in Thousand Year Door by the Ultra Stone dropping from the ceiling in Merlon's house. Because Mario can't obtain this badge until this point in the game, that means that for the first quarter of the game, changing partners is very critical in battle. Meanwhile, in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, this badge can be obtained as early as Chapter 1 by buying it from an NPC named Dazzle, who serves the same purpose as Merlot in the first game. It can be bought from Dazzle for 8 star pieces, making it the 5th most expensive badge in the game that you buy with star pieces. The game's prologue only has 6 star pieces, so you need to start Chapter 1 to get enough star pieces. Just purchasing this badge isn't enough because this badge has a whopping 7 BP cost to wear, meaning that you have to level up and raise your badge points twice to be able to afford to wear it. Players think this badge is too expensive to buy and too expensive to wear, and it is, at first. So why does this badge cost more badge points in this game than in the other game? It's because of the way partners are designed to work in each respective game. Partners in Paper Mario 64 can't do very much compared to partners in Thousand Year Door. They have their own set of moves that help and assist Mario in battle, some being better than others. Their ability to perform Focus, a move where the character uses their turn to gain star power, is tied to the group Focus badge, which costs 2 badge points to wear, just as Quick Change, which costs 4 badge points in this game, is tied to being able to switch between partners for free. They can't really do much else, and they don't really have their own HP. Instead, when they take damage from opposing enemies or bosses, they get stunned and are rendered unable to move for a number of turns equal to the damage they took. But being able to change partners in battle, even in this game, can be very beneficial. Mainly when you realize you have the wrong partner out and you need a different partner to properly fight your enemy, or even have Goombario tattle them to learn about them and see their HP. This is what justifies the high badge point cost of this badge relative to the max number of badge points in the whole game. Meanwhile, in Thousand Year Door, partners are much more versatile, having their own HP, and Mario even has the ability to put their partner in front to tank more enemy hits for them by making them go first. They don't just have their own moves and abilities, but they can also use items, and they can also use appeal to increase star power without needing Mario to wear a badge for it like in the first game. They also have the option to try to run away from a battle that can be fled, which they didn't in the original game. This, along with the much higher maximum badge points possible for this game, is the reason that Quick Change has a higher badge point cost than Thousand Year Door, in addition to the same reason partners are as useful in this game as they are in the first game. Being able to switch to Goombella to tattle on your enemies is crucial for completing the game's tattle log, if that's what you want to do. Just remember that missable titles can be obtained from Frankly's trash can. Regardless of which game it's in and when you acquire it, some players think that the ability to change partners freely should be a right and not a privilege dependent on whether or not you are wearing the badge for it. This is built on the idea that switching partners in battle is about as fair as being able to switch between all the different choices you have in battle, from attacking to using items and such. Players want to be able to quickly change partners to immediately access that other partner's abilities when the situation in battle calls for it. And there are times where you're playing the game and you're in battle and you feel this way. Generally when you feel like you're at a disadvantage, or when you really are, and your desire to get out of this alive means you yearn for something like switching partners freely even more. Even if you feel like the Quick Change badge and his function is fair, you still feel this way against your better judgment when push comes to shove in battle. In other words, even though you feel that the Quick Change badge is fair, just for that moment, you feel like it's not. Players switch partners in a Paper Mario battle for the same reason that they switch Pokemon in a Pokemon game. They do it to try to get the upper hand in battle when the arsenal is good for it. In Paper Mario's case, you have another partner whose abilities are better or more suitable for the enemy situation, and you need to get them out in place of the one you already have out. The same thing is true in a Pokemon battle, where your opponent's Pokemon has, say, and this is one of the best examples, a type advantage over yours, so you need to switch out your Pokemon for one that would have an advantage over theirs. Of course, changing Pokemon uses up a turn, after which the opposing Pokemon takes theirs. This and the other rules are a little different in Pokemon Legends Arceus because of how Pokemon battles differ from those of most other games, but I digress. Whether it's changing partners in Paper Mario or changing Pokemon in a Pokemon game, the point of doing so is exactly the same. It's to try to get the upper hand in battle and have a much easier time. Granted, in Paper Mario's case, without Quick Change, or Pokemon's case in general, because of how changing is an integral part of the battle system, it counts as using up a turn. It's just another part of fighting the battle, and it's important that you do so wisely, because there is no horrible feeling like swapping out another Pokemon only for that Pokemon to get knocked out, forcing you to choose another. Oh yeah, I've been there, and so have many Pokemon players out there, I'm sure. I'm not saying the same thing can happen in Paper Mario, given how differently battles work there, but it is a theoretical possibility. You do not want your partner stunned in 64, or knocked out in Thousand Year Door, unless in the latter's case you have a strategy around that. The Quick Change badge turns the privilege, the battle skill, of changing partners into a right. Something you can do freely to adjust and adapt to new situations regarding the battle's opposition. And rightly so, as with how all badges in the game give you some sort of benefit for the BP it costs to wear them. Pokemon games have the switch and set battle styles in the options menu. One lets you switch Pokemon between battles, the other lets you get through dialogue boxes faster. Likewise, Quick Change lets you switch partners freely without using up a turn in exchange for the badge points. Anyway, Pokemon battles aside, Quick Change is a badge that provides a unique benefit akin to all badges in the game, and one that is just with its BP cost and when in the game it is obtained. Like with all other badges and functions in this and all games, it has its supporters and it has its protesters. Is Quick Change fair? The short answer is yes. The long answer, however, is that it is highly subjective since everybody plays and experiences the game differently. What about you? Do you think that Quick Change is a fair badge? Do you think it could be improved in either game in any way, BP cost or obtainability or otherwise? Please let me know your thoughts about that and about this video in the comments below. Thank you! Now, as I briefly hinted at earlier in the video, One strategy in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door for which quick change is absolutely critical is one that involves the Mega Rush P badge, and adding and aiding in this strategy is also the point swap item, which I feel is an underrated item in this game. For more details, please check out this other video I made where I go into greater detail about this and more. Thank you for watching this video and happy gaming!